What's the one thing you would share, or one learning from your experience in your respective countries that you'd want other people to know? Like, what can they learn from? And should there be more, I guess, global discussions on this so that we're not reinventing the wheel all the time? And anybody can
Okay,
start.
I will go first. And this has very little to do with technology, but something that has surprised me when working for a long time in the US market. And that is, um, everyone is hyped. Everyone in the industry is super hyped about fiber, and you should be, right? We should be. It's compared to other technologies, it is the
Cool.
best. It's the capacity is endless. Just tune up the electronics a bit, and you can pump even more. And therefore, since it's so great, people have their mind on a certain price level, and also how expensive it is to put in because you got to dig and all the permitting, and it takes a lot of time and all of that kind of stuff. So and I don't know how this came to be, but in Sweden there was like a level where this is what internet should cost, very cheap. So that was like the mark that everyone tried to hit. So they were selling fiber at the same price as DSL or other technologies, and that drove adoption paired with the competition on an open network where you have providers competing. But it seems like you're so focused on the greatness of this product and the cost that goes into it, so you don't really look at it long scale. You need the take rates to split the cost between as many customers as possible. And if you have the customer, then they will grow. They will buy a 4K TV. They will have more devices. You can run promotions, let them try a gig for a month, and they will see, well, it actually is a bit better, and they stay on that plan, and they will add some other services from you. So that is a big surprise to me, actually, that there's a very little differentiation between like the entry product that might be on the internet of 100 meg symmetrical, or 250 megs or something, and the gig, or even 2 gig or 5 gig. In Sweden, when this market grew so much, you could get that entry product really cheap. There was it didn't make sense to stay on any other technology. Why would you, if you're paying the same price and get 10 times the speed? And that is something I think that anyone could actually learn from. That people people won't stay on that plan. They will upgrade, or you force them to upgrade when they're on the network. Okay, 10 by 10. It used to be 10 by 10 in Sweden. It's too slow, and we have better technology, so we're dropping that plan. Now you're on 100 by 100, and your price increased a little bit, but you got 10 times the speed. So there,
Yeah.
as long as you get the customers on the network and you get higher take rates, that will flip your business case if you sort of play the longer game a little bit. So that would be it. That's something that surprises me, coming from Sweden over to the US. The very little differentiation in price, and I think we could see a completely different adoption if we were sort of smarter on pricing.
Great
Uh,
points.
I'd build on what you're what you're saying, Isaac, in that the pricing. There just seems to be over the years, whatever the speed was, there's a certain range, there's a certain share of the consumer wallet that they're willing to pay for a contemporary broadband product. And it's sort of in Canada, maybe that ranges from 40 to $100, somewhere in there. It doesn't go to 200 Canadian dollars. And you know people will take it if it's less, but they won't go without it, in that 40 to $100 range. And it just seems to be, as the speeds go up, you move up in the range, and then there's downward pressure as new speeds come in at the top, over the years, whether it was 1 meg to 7 to 25 to 100. Now we're in the gigs, and we're going to start losing count, right, of how many gigs it is over time. I think one of the biggest learnings that I would sort of bring is just how incredibly indispensable, seems obvious, but how incredibly indispensable a broadband connection has become in today's world. And it was accelerated through the pandemic, coming out the other side, just how important it is. People, as inflationary pressures creep into our marketplace, into our economy, people are cutting back on food before they will cut back on broadband. Like that's, I don't get a lot of downgrade orders. I only get upgrade orders. Yeah. And, we know people are struggling to make ends meet in certain parts of the economy. And I think that underscores just the importance of the mandate we all seem to share in getting broadband to places that don't necessarily have it yet. I'd like to be at 99% fiber penetration. I'm, somewhere 50 to 70, depending on what province you're talking about. But we're going to get there, and we know where the prices will be. We know how essential everything has become, and I would welcome more of these conversations to learn from different markets that have learned and have evolved more in some places and less in others. And I think there's a ton of value in this. So I'm glad we had the chance to connect today.
Awesome.
And to wrap up very quickly, conscious of time. So I would pick up on the 2 points made by both Isak and Brad around pricing and scale. I would say that at the base of the pyramid, there is still demand for broadband. And if you can get your kind of unit economics right based on scale and pricing, you'll find a surprisingly large market. That's our learning.